recording live from Glory Hole Studios in Chicago.
Terrible idea. Keep going.
This is
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just going to be complaining the whole time.
Every episode, what would be different? Every episode, we blast anyone who gets in our
I
way.
am the guy, aren't I?
We bring critical thinking, skepticism.
I'm 100% that guy. I feel like you just held a mirror up so I could look at myself.
That was a too true moment. I didn't mean it, buddy. I love you.
What the f*** would be different if you weren't complaining? I guess that's true.
Skepticism and irreverence to any topic that makes the news, makes it big, or makes Cecil mad. It's skeptical, it's political, and there is no welcome at. This is episode 620 of Cognitive Dissonance, and this is our drinking Negronis on air drink, buddy.
Drinking Negronis. The absolute king that Heath is.
Yes.
Heath, we just did a record with him on Monday where I don't know, somebody walked away. It might have even been on Sunday when I was talking to him when I don't know if you were there. I don't remember because I recorded with him Sunday for a get ahead for their GAM show. And then we also recorded Monday for Citation Needed. I don't remember when he told me. He said he's drinking these Negronis. And he said, I'm drinking Negronis, but instead of gin, I'm using mezcal. And I said, well, that sounds really interesting. And I said, I'm going to have to go to the store and get the stuff. And he's like, here's what you need. And so he told me. Right. And I put in my phone. And then I never got to the store this week because I've had the worst week.
You've had a bad week. You had a very shitty week.
I've had literally a very shitty week. Literally a very shitty week. Yeah. It turns out when a toilet overflows in your house, it is the most expensive thing you could possibly imagine. And so I've had this awful week, but I didn't get a chance to go. But today, he sent us in the mail for each of us. A
Negroni
mixer.
Fixes.
A whole mixer.
Yeah.
With the mezcal.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm drinking. I will say this.
Yeah.
It's not my drink.
Nope.
But cheers to Heath. Cheers to Heath. Cheers. Good for you.
I like this drink.
I also want to say to anybody who's listening to this podcast that this podcast is our first test ever. It is a video. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can watch this whole podcast transpire. We are trying something new where we record a whole video and post it to YouTube, but then the podcast will still release and still be available just for everybody else as well. But it's a brand new thing that we're trying. Because Ian just will never let it go.
He won't.
He just literally will never let it go.
Ian has this fucking idea that this is a good idea. Exactly. And what's amazing is he's been wrong about every fucking idea that he's ever had.
So many things.
Literally, since we hired him.
Since we've hired him.
He's been wrong about every idea that he's had.
He's like Nostra dumbass.
But he's like a weird bulldog about it. Like, I don't understand. Like, if I was wrong that often, I would give the fuck up.
You would eventually just acquiesce a little.
Do you know how I know that? Because I'm wrong so often, I usually just give the fuck up. You know what this is also, Cecil?
What is it?
This is the day, not that the Lord hath made, but this is the day that our hardcover book has become available.
That is true. Our hardcover book was submitted today. These are, I'm going to put the camera on me so they can see. This is not for sale. This is the proof copy. But essentially the hardcover book proof copy looks great. They did a wonderful job on it. So I approved it today. So I'm guessing within like 3 days, it'll be available. So by the time this releases on Monday,
you can buy the hardcover.
Yeah, it'll be available. So
very cool.
So yeah, man. I mean, this is all the pieces. So
what are the formats you can get the grand unified theory of bullshit?
Formats for our book are Kindle and paperback, and you can buy those on Amazon as well as hardcover now. They're all print on demand. So I know we've gotten some message from people who were like, "Hey, is there a non-print a print option that is non-Amazon?" And there isn't. There just isn't.
No.
We just don't have
the cost involved for that is just, it's too high.
We just don't have so we had to do it this way. But Tom recorded majority of the book. There's a couple of little audio pieces from Marsh and I, but Tom did the recording on the audiobook. The audiobook turned out excellent. Ian mixed it. I edited it, and it is outstanding. It is a perfect reading of this book. Every piece of it, I think, really falls together very well. You did a wonderful job. And people have been buying it. So it's available on our website right now. I submitted it to Findaway Voices. And what Findaway Voices does is it distributes it to all kinds of different audiobook sellers. So
Except Audible, guys.
Except Audible.
Because Audible chews your fucking soul up and spits it out.
They take everything. And Findaway Voices already takes extra amount from us anyway.
Right.
So you should be able to find it on all those places where audiobooks are sold that aren't Amazon, that aren't the Amazon version. So I think Nook is a place, and then there's like audiobooks.com, and it'll be on Apple and other places, and it'll be $20, but it's going to take like 30 days for everything to be there. But when it's in about 30 days, that'll be the last piece that comes out, is that piece.
And right now you can get the audiobook of The Grand Unified Theory of Bullshit on our website.
On our website.
And we've gotten some messages like, hey, if I really just want to support you guys, which one should I buy? And that answer is clear. It's the audiobook.
It's
the audiobook.
We did it all.
It's all on us.
We did it all.
Yep.
It's all on us. So we did all the work. And so you're basically paying for our labor, and no one gets a cut of that except for us.
The cut.
We get the cut.
That's the cut.
There is a cut that goes to the state government. We gotta pay them.
We gotta pay the state.
Gotta pay the state.
The state of Illinois gets their juice.
And PayPal gets its juice.
Right.
But we get a payment out of that. That is away from everybody else. So if you're interested, that's how it is. But the book is out, and people are. I want to say too, if you bought the book, please rate it. I mean, like we would love it if you'd rate it, because all the ratings that we get, it puts it up higher in the rankings, and people can see it. There's a better chance someone else will see it. So,
what if they want a signed copy?
Yeah. Well, if they want a signed copy, go to our website. We're giving away. I mean, they are giveaways essentially, because you're just paying for the production.
Right. We're not making any money.
We're not making any money on it. But if you pay us $5, we'll send you a bookmark. And the bookmark looks really nice. Tom, you have the bookmark there.
I have the bookmark.
Put the camera on Tom.
And
so Tom, it looks pretty
good.
There's the bookmark,
you know?
and then if he turns it around, it's signed. You can't even see that.
Can't see it. It's so overexposed.
It's so overexposed.
And the audio listeners can't see anything anyway at all.
You can't see anything. But in any case, the bookmarks are available. You pay $5, we'll sign it, and then we'll ship it out to you. And that way you have, and if you see us in a conference in the future, which we're hoping to go to, we'll sign your book.
Love to go
person,
to something someday.
But you at least have something that we signed, and we're more than happy to do it. We're tickled that you would even ask us to. I mean, it's such an honor to even sign something, so it's really wonderful. But it's on our website. Go check it out.
All right, Cecil. So this first story comes from ProPublica, using Facebook's own data to understand the platform's role in January 6th. So this is a long form article. All ProPublica seems to be. Just outstanding. But what really grabs hold of me is not the fact, because we've talked about this before, it's not the fact so much that Facebook and Facebook groups were essential sources of spreading disinformation and misinformation. We've talked about that. That's fucking established science, right?
Yeah, right.
But when ProPublica teamed up with data scientists from the Washington Post, they were able to pour through these Facebook groups and the data from these Facebook groups and identify about 650,000 posts from these Facebook groups. And as you read this ProPublica article, and go to our site and check it out, because it's really worth reading, the thing that jumps out to me, Cecil, is this is data collection and data management and data science that can be done by ProPublica.org and Washington Post, who have vastly less resources than Meta.
They used interns, man. They used interns, and they had a system, and their system was essentially to create some sort of weeding algorithm.
Right.
It would figure out a way to take posts that they thought were damaging politically, right? Misinformation posts. I mean, blatant misinformation posts.
Just bullshit.
Bullshit posts.
Just straight bullshit.
And they would take them and separate them out. And they erred on the side of, because they had to go through so many of them, they erred on the side of, we'll play it safe, right? They hired,
meaning letting more pass rather than less.
Way more. They played it safe.
So there's 650,000 is an undercount.
Yeah, they even say that at the end of the article. It's an undercount. There's a possibility that the 650,000 posts is an undercount. And what's crazy is that they show that many of these posts happen in a span of time, and I'm going to scroll to the. I'm going to scroll. If you're watching this video, you'll be able to see it. But I'm going to describe this graph to the people who are listening. Essentially, what it shows is it shows the time frame leading up to the election. So there's a line that shows the time frame leading up to the election, and you can see how many posts that Facebook was very proactive in taking down.
Yeah.
These are posts and groups that they were actively hunting for, and you can see these large spikes. These are huge spikes worth of data that they're just pulling down off their site. And then you come to this other part, this section in the middle that is essentially this doldrums that happens between the election and January 6th, and they went silent. And the reason why is because they're making money, man.
Yeah, and lest you think anything else, on December 2nd, they disbanded their Civic Integrity Task Force team. It cannot be said more clearly that Facebook has had and has always had the technology to remove this kind of shit.
Yes.
So when and this counts for, if they can remove this, they can remove vaccine disinformation.
You're right.
So they have always had the ability to remove this stuff. They are complicit. They are blood on their hands, deaths at their door, complicit in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because they are. And you will never convince me otherwise. They are absolutely complicit because, and we've said this on the show before, they've got the technology to remove a nipple.
They
right? Post your fucking titty.
You can't put anal on there.
Right.
Right?
Not more than 2 or 3 times, and then you get
you get a 30-day ban.
Sucked,
hey, don't show your cock and balls. Okay, whatever.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Fine. No more prolapse videos or whatever fucking horrible shit. Fucking the world is ruined. But yeah, like they've always been able to do
time lapse of a prolapse. But yeah, you're right. I
read an article though. Hold on, real quick.
Okay,
I read an article.
This is going to be good.
I did. I read an article about like whether or not, like, because I guess there's a whole thing. I didn't know this. There's a whole like thing of like anal prolapse videos.
Yikes.
Where people will learn or train their bodies to prolapse on command. And it has like a name,
it's like a sea cucumber, expelling its insides to capture something.
And like they talk, and the question
and
is,
if
like,
you want to sea cucumber up your prolapse anus, you can go to adamandeve.com.
Enter Gloria checkout, and don't do this to your butt. Because like the article is like, which came first, like the internet or like a chicken or the egg kind of a thing, and it's really unclear.
Yeah.
But like there's a gastroenterologist like, don't do that. That has to be surgically fixed. Like that's real bad for you.
I wonder if it's like the clapper. Just
I'm just reading this article.
Pavlov's prolapsed anus. It just starts salivating when you ring a bell.
Do you know what it's called?
Oh, I can't.
Cherry butting.
That can't be perfect.
Sweet name.
That can't be more perfect.
It's such a sweet name for such a horrible thing.
I love it.
So like, all right, you can't post fucking cherry butting videos on Facebook
because they'll be taken down instantaneously.
Yeah, immediately. And they've always been able to take down this shit. The vaccine disinformation that got promoted and like has just ruined our ability to control a pandemic. The fucking election integrity shit, the QAnon shit. They have the ability to sort through this, guys. They can do it. They just choose intentionally not to.
And you can tell just by that graph that I said, right? Just by that graph, you can tell that they like actively decided not to. Yeah. I mean, like your motivations are clearly in front of everyone.
Well, dude, if a handful of interns, a dude from the Washington Post and ProPublica can do this work, because they want to do this work, then you're literally thousands of engineers,
team of engineers can fucking engineer something to make sure this doesn't happen.
The fuck actually out of here.
You know it's true. You know it's true.
Yep.
You know it can happen. And all different types of sites have this problem, right? So Reddit has this problem where there'll be like these little incel groups that'll just fucking feed off each other, and then they finally get so toxic that they either get muted or something. I forget exactly what they do. They I forget what it is, but they do something to basically essentially like quarantine it. And then, so you can't post to it or like you can't upvote. I'm not exactly sure how it works. And then eventually they just get banned. So like the Donald is a perfect example, right? The Donald was the pro-Trump board.
Right.
And that got completely banned. It was initially shut down and then it was completely banned. And they all went over to our conservative. And eventually that may get banned too if there's calls for violence or other things.
Right.
So there's real problems in many different sites. And in particular, one of the problems actually is leaning too far into this and allowing your algorithm to take over too much. This article here talks about how YouTube is censoring too much.
Yeah, this article comes from The Intercept. Big Tech's Kafka-esque approach to censorship is driven by an abiding contempt for its audience. By the way, that title, fuck, that title's hard to read.
That title is good. That title gets like a Flesh Kincaid of 12.
Jesus Christ. So, and we've encountered this shit on this show.
Yeah.
Like YouTube has
when we did that one on the Suez Canal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. YouTube has its algorithm set to fucking stun all the time, or fucking kill all the time.
To disintegrate. It's like, and the problem is like, there's so many people out there, and I've seen this happen to other YouTubers, right? So there's other popular YouTubers that will make a debunking video. They will debunk something, or they will hear a claim. They'll be like, here's a claim about vaccines, and then they will go through and just boom, 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 and they will talk about.
But they have to use the source material.
But the problem is that they get fucking bounced, and then they have to beg, and then they have to cajole other people to get involved and retweet and talk to YouTube, and then finally YouTube is like, oh yeah, we fucked up, and they did that to us every single time. They fucked up really bad one time when we were actively fighting against vaccine misinformation.
Yep.
And they were like, no, we're taking you off because you guys were making health claims. And we're like, we're not making health claims. No, we're citing articles that are making health claims that are saying these people are crazy.
Yep. Yeah. And again, YouTube has the technology to do this right. And the reason you know that, and the Intercept article does a good job of pointing this out, is they don't take down all kinds of other evil, dangerous shit. Right? So there's all kinds of other evil, dangerous, liar bullshit all over YouTube. It's full of that kind of garbage. But they basically just have the clumsiest, laziest fucking algorithm possible.
Yeah.
And they do it, I think, because they can.
Yeah.
Like, and I was thinking about this, like, why invest more resources to get it right? If I ban you, I don't lose anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are you going to do about it? Literally nothing, because you didn't pay for it. You have no recourse. Where are you going to go? You're going to go to fucking some other YouTube?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Like, we're going to go over to Truth Social?
Yeah.
Fuck you. These guys are so big that they don't have to do a good job.
Yeah.
What they have to do is and they do what every business does. You sell everybody the minimum thing that people will buy.
Yeah. And then you staff to the minimum level. Mm-hmm. And that's what they're doing. They're letting an algorithm run it. And the problem is that when you're so indiscriminate, right? So there's two sides of this. When you're so indiscriminate that you don't do anything, you get the Facebook problem. And the Facebook problem is that everything, it's just a fucking Wild West, everything's allowed. The problem with YouTube is that they're taking down things that are saying this is terrible and here is why it's terrible, right? So they take down things in this particular article. They're taking down this guy who's basically played Trump's speech and then derided him the whole time about all the lies he tells in this speech. And then they're like, they took it down.
They took it down like it stopped the steal shit. It's like he's using the source to debunk the source.
And that takes away from the power of the people to stop these messages where they live.
Yep.
And so both sides of this, you got to have a good middle ground.
This is why we're fucked, right? But this is exactly why we're fucked. It's because over here you've got Facebook where everything fucking goes, except for a fucking titty or whatever.
Sure.
But everything goes over here on Facebook until they decide for a half a fucking minute that they're going to have civic integrity task force, and then they disband their civic integrity,
God,
like because you're like, oh, I guess we don't need civic integrity anymore. That's something we're just, hey guys, turns out civic integrity isn't something we need anymore.
We can dust off our hands,
right?
Well, now that we're 100%,
civically integrated. And then you got fucking YouTube. So like you get the bad information on Facebook and then you go to this other site and these sites, because the way they both work in different ways, they actually reinforce more bad messaging.
Right.
And it's a fucking nightmare.
It's an absolute nightmare. And this is the worst. This is the worst approach because you're taking away those people out there that are willing to fight this stuff.
Right.
And this happens to so many different YouTubers. There was a guy, I think his name's Potholer54, I think is the name of him. And he's been taken down multiple times just doing debunking videos.
Which is fucking bullshit. You would think that there would be some kind of we've done this 6 times escalation process.
Right. You would know, like you would have the guy's number at this point. You could just text him.
Right. But that's the thing is YouTube has there is literally no financial or market driven incentive for them to give any shits about you because you don't pay for it.
Not a tiny bit.
I loved this article. I liked this article so much I texted you when I was reading it because you found this article. I'm like, this Time article is baller.
It's really good.
This article comes from Time. Meet the Lithuanian elves fighting Russian disinformation. So this is a story of, and I love this because they call themselves elves because elves fight trolls.
I love
and
that.
I'm just like,
I love that so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love
Thank
it.
you. And what this is a group of just human beings and not a couple. Like thousands of them.
Yeah.
And they aggregate on Facebook in these sites that are like, puppies for me, or like I love corgis, or like whatever. They don't call themselves what they are.
Yorkshire Terriers or something.
Right. Yeah. So they aggregate in these sites, and then their whole thing is they go out hunting for trolls. And when they spot trolls that look and behave like bots, they identify that it's a bot, and then they all swarm at that bot and they report it. And they report it, and they report it, and they report it.
And it goes away.
And it's gone.
And YouTube finds it and says, oh shit, let's get it off. It's not YouTube, pardon me, it's Facebook.
Yep.
Facebook finds it and just takes it away.
Yeah.
And
You're doing their work for them.
Doing their work for them. But this is, they've said that they've wound up catching so many of these bots, and they all sort of, the bots swarm and then they swarm.
What's really interesting about this is that if for Lithuanians, this is an existential practice. This is not like doing something. This is not like Kip Boga, right? Where it's like, this is a good thing to do, and I do it because I have the time, the energy, and the skill, and I should.
And I can keep one guy occupied.
Right.
Yeah.
This is literally an existential practice. The Russian disinformation campaign and the information war that Russia has waged never stopped after the Cold War.
Never.
And this article makes a great point. When the Cold War ended in 91, for the most part, the U.S. and its allies wound down a lot of their information campaign.
Yeah.
And Russia ramped theirs up. And we've been talking about this for years now on the show, that we have been at a propaganda war with Russia. We've talked about this for I don't know how long now. And we're losing.
At least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And we're losing it. In Lithuania, because they're one of the Baltic states, like right there on the edge, and they've never been viewed as a legitimate state by the Russians, they've been under constant attack.
And they're constantly talking about that exact line, which is they've always been part of Russia, which is what they've been saying about Ukraine right now. That's what they're saying about Ukraine constantly. Is they're not part of their own.
They don't have their own legitimate state.
They've always been part of Russia. They're always been part of Russia.
Yep.
And there's a part of this article. It says you would go to Facebook article about Ukraine and you'd see 30 to 50 comments that are almost the same. That Ukraine is fascist, that Ukrainians kill people, that Lithuania should improve relations with Russia, that Lithuania is occupied by NATO, and so on. And then you start checking and realize that they're almost all the same and they're almost all fake. And so it's essentially just a big blast of information. And we talked about this on the show before, and we talk about it in our book, where the more you hear the same thing, the better chance you have of believing it. So if you hear false things over and over and over again, there's a possibility that you may believe it. And that's a tactic too, right? It's not just getting it in front of you. It's getting it in front of you a lot of times. All these 50, 60 comments, if 50, 60 comments are thinking about it, think about this. You remember that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire show?
Yeah.
You poll the fucking audience.
Right.
That sort of thing is like, if that many people said it's true, then it's probably true. Well, maybe they're wrong.
Right. Well, there's certainly, it's funny because the poll the audience almost always works because information aggregates, right? But there's no propagandizing as part of it. If
there was 60 trolls in the audience,
then that changes the whole thing.
Changes the calculus.
It changes the whole thing. If you got 60 trolls in an audience of 100, and their goal is to fuck with you, they're gonna pick the wrong answer on purpose, or they're gonna pick fucking wacky answer. So you've got to understand the intentions of these bad actors and recognize that, like, consuming information. You make a great point, and we talk about this in the book, but it's so important. I'm going to say it again. It's the more you see something, the more you believe it's true. You cannot guard against that.
Yeah.
You cannot do it. Your brain will do that for you. Your brain just does that work in the background. It's running that system in the background.
That's a biosystem, baby.
Yes.
That's base.
Yep.
You can't get out of that. Yeah.
Because most of our decisions that we make subconsciously. We make them in the background. We intuit most of the things that we come to understand about the world that we live in.
Right.
So you have to be very careful not to accidentally consume this shit, because you will accidentally consume it. It's the same thing, and I know you've done this because I've done this, and everybody I know has done this. Have you ever been telling a story and you're like, I read once that, and if you got pressed, where'd you read it?
Yeah.
You would not be able to answer the question. Right?
Because you don't have a footnote in your head.
You have no fucking clue.
Once. Yeah.
You've just internalized some information. Sure. And the I read once is a shorthand for, here's something I've come to believe is true and cannot fucking attribute.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something we all do without even thinking about it.
Sure.
I saw a movie once I saw this documentary witch, and you cannot attribute any of that shit. We all do it. It's okay that we do it. But in a world where there is intentional propagandizing as part of a nonstop information war to change our minds and to pollute our thinking, that means we can't afford that anymore.
Right.
It didn't matter as much when it was like coming from these less targeted sources. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a big deal. I thought this was a wonderful story from Huffington Post. Florida high school student suspended after handing out pride flags. Okay, so when I say it was a wonderful story, I mean like his actions are wonderful, not his suspension.
No, the suspension is wonderful.
I got to be careful because you're going to get somebody's email. Why did you think it was great that he was suspended? I didn't think it was great he was suspended. Principal's an asshole.
So the law that they have, it's a bill to forbid instruction on sexual orientation and gender identity and in kindergarten through third grade, rejecting a wave of criticism from Democrats that it marginalizes LGBTQ people.
Yeah.
So you're basically not allowed to even talk about their existence.
Right.
Until they're 8 years old. Why 8? Like, why is 8 years old or 8 or 9 the thing that you're like, okay, now you're ready to hear about a gay person?
I've literally no fucking
Why
idea.
did they just have to throw a dart in their Congress? Like, what is it?
Right. I read this. I thought the same thing, like K through 3. What?
Yeah.
Like if I was a bigot, I'd be like K through 12.
Yeah, K through 12. I don't want them to ever know about that.
Why are you like these? I actually thought it was really weird because those motherfuckers never give an inch.
Yeah.
So
it's
like
a very strange number.
Hedging on the short side of that?
It feels like a weird number. It feels like you're just like, okay, we just pulled this out. Like they had all the numbers in a hat and they just chose this.
Yeah, right.
One. Yeah.
There's nothing like particularly magical about the difference between third and fourth grade.
The only thing I can think is like, isn't there in one of those religions the age of reason? Where you're like,
yeah, when is the age of reason? Oh, look that up. When is the fucking age of reason?
Age of reason? Don't tell me it was the 1600s because I don't.
Yeah, no, you're right though because I wonder. Oh, fuck me if that's it. Oh, fuck me if that's what drives it. I'll leave. I'm gonna leave the studio forever if that's
age
it.
of reason.
If it's fucking 8. Because that's when you become morally culpable in religious.
Yeah, it's when you're like you can start sinning.
Right.
It did come up with Age of Enlightenment for Wikipedia, by the way.
That's really funny. If it's fucking 8 years old, I'm leaving forever.
You're never coming back?
No, I'm staying. Is it 8 years old?
It's 7.
7 years old? I have a 7-year-old who doesn't know shit about shit.
Roman Catholicism, 7 years of age at which a person is morally liable for their sins that he or she commits.
What?
And now this is from yourdictionary.com. I have no idea how true that is because when I just typed in the search for it, I can't figure it out. So I don't know.
Right, without like spending time on air doing it. But
yeah.
like, holy shit, 7? Dude, Eamon is 7.
Yeah.
He doesn't know shit about shit.
Young man does not know
shit about shit. I love him, but he's got no idea about anything.
That is also the one.
I bet that's the reason, though.
But anyway, so this poor kid wants to give away these flags. He just wants to give away flags, and he's
handing
at
out pride
high
flags.
school.
Yeah,
he's not an 8-year-old. He's not a 7-year-old. He's not a 6-year-old. He's a young adult in high school, and he wants to give the pride flags away. And they take him on the side and tell him, you can't do this. What is
Right.
wrong with you? And he said, fuck off. I'm going to give these pride flags away. And then they take him, Tom, and they put him on administrative leave.
Yeah.
And my first thought was like, he's not a cop who killed somebody. I mean, come on.
You are on a graded administrative leave. We still give you grades, but you don't have to come to work.
They just let him. They sent him home, and he's like, he's not. And they're fighting against because they don't want to
call it a suspension.
They don't want to be in the fucking major news, but be calling
Right.
it a suspension. But they 100% suspended this kid.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? It's not suspended. Can I come back to school?
No, you're on administrative leave.
Well, fucking, I would like to learn things at school.
It's like an institute day or something. You're not allowed to come back until we all come back, and we all said you could come back. I guess. I don't know.
You can't come back until you come back out of the hat.
You pull
it's out of practice.
the number 8 out of a hat, and it's out of practice.
God.
Yeah, man. It's like
It's a fucking bunch of bigots, man.
It's this, and it's the fucking don't ever say CRT around me again, and all these other.
Well, yeah, and
Florida is just becoming
Yep.
this. Hold your fingers as tightly into your ears and scream la la la,
Man,
because they are the biggest fucking snowflakes in the world.
Thank
man.
you. The amount, it's so funny for a group of people that fucking cannot stop fucking jerking off bald eagles to freedom. They fucking love that shit so hard. So fucking hard. They're freedom this and they're fucking freedom that. And it's like, cool. Well, if a teacher wants to talk about the fact of homosexuality, whoa!
Yeah.
Or I want to teach the straight historical truth of slavery and its impact on and driving force for the Civil War and like Reconstruction and Jim Crow and like these things that literally defined era after era in American history.
Right.
No, fuck that. Like we got a story in the notes too about, I think it's in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
About if you're a librarian, you are there's a bill which passed the House and is likely going to pass in Oklahoma that would hold librarians personally, criminally accountable.
Is that the 666 bill?
Yes.
666 bill.
It's a House Bill
It's the
666.
House Bill 666
in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it will hold them criminally responsible, a fine of up to $10,000.
And it's not really defined.
Right. For books in the library
Books
that offend somebody's religion.
Someone. And so, they don't go through any pains to define it at all.
I would love to
and
go.
then they want to make that same bill. Isn't that same bill the one that they want to make the Bible the state book?
Yeah, they want to make the Bible the state book in Oklahoma.
What is happening, man?
Like, where's my freedom?
Jesus.
So if I am a Muslim, can I go to the library, find a copy of the Bible, and be like, that offends me?
Right.
I mean, what the fuck? We are that afraid of being offended? I thought that was the thing you leveled at me.
I know. That's what they always say
That's the thing
about
you
us.
level at me is I'm afraid. Oh, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I would be offended. Well, okay. Aren't you guys the ones that are supposed to be like, in favor of freedom? And I'm the one that's trying to like say whoa to your ideas.
I'm always the one who's trying to say censor.
Right.
But it's just such a projection. Because they do it all the time. They keep saying it over and over. They're just like, no, you're a fucking snowflake. By the way, don't look at me because I may melt. I'm very melting. Please don't look at me.
The thing that makes me laugh so much is that this is such a fucking posturing.
Oh, it's
'cause kids aren't at the library.
Yeah, it's 100%.
Nobody's at the we got to protect the kids. From what? The library?
Yeah.
You ever seen a kid at a library now? It's 2022. What would they fucking use a library for? A library? Are you serious?
I haven't been in a library in many years.
Dude, I got a library card the other day. I walked in, I got a library card. I didn't check any books out. I went home and I downloaded books at home.
On your Kindle or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's 2022.
Yeah.
When I was at the library, I brought my little guy. We walked around. We got some books. I sat and I read him a couple of little books. And then I put them right back on the fucking shelf because I got that shit at home.
Yeah.
It's posturing. It's all a show, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing is a show to drive votes. But the problem is the show is we need to burn books.
Yeah.
We need to ban thinking. We need to reduce the amount of information available.
It's the same thing with
But let me be on Facebook and Twitter.
But it's all the same thing with all the trans laws, the anti-trans laws that are coming in. There was one I don't know if it was Idaho or Montana this week, where they're trying to ban any child from getting surgery reassignment.
Yeah.
But that's not real.
Yeah,
nobody does that.
It's like banning
You
like a
can't
fucking
do that.
partial birth abortion.
You can't
right? Like,
do that already.
Right.
Nobody will do that.
It's
That's
all
not
for
a
show.
thing. It's 100% performative.
Yep.
But what it does is it targets trans people, and it allows this brand new, basically whipping person that they can just beat on in front of everybody to show how powerful they are. And the same thing with Abbott down in Texas, where now he's going after anybody who does anything that like even affirms their child is trans.
Then he wants people to report them.
They can be It's the same thing with their like anti-abortion thing.
DCFS for child abuse.
To DCFS, and they can get child abuse charges for that.
Yep.
It's abhorrent.
They
It's
can
awful.
ruin somebody's life.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is they're ruining people's lives not because they want to protect anybody. The game here for the politicians has nothing to do with protecting anybody.
You're right.
The game, to your point, is to be performative.
Yeah.
It's to have we saw this same shit with the fucking war on crime. In the 90s, like the big fucking performance that all the politicians hauled out, their dog and fucking pony show was their war on crime. I'm tougher than that guy. I'm tougher than all the guys. I'll shoot somebody for jaywalking. I'll fucking draw and quarter a guy for driving a mile over the speed limit.
In the presidential election, they're just taking turns shooting criminals on the stage.
I think we should burn the prisons with everybody in them alive.
Lining them up, see how many bullets can go through them or whatever.
Like Indiana Jones.
Exactly. It's ridiculous.
Fuck. The whole thing is a performance. It has nothing to do with keeping society any safer.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with keeping individuals any safer. It has to do with whipping up the fucking guys with the trucks with the tires that are too big and they're rolling coal. And they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And they don't read the news. They don't fucking watch anything important. But they're like, they sure do fucking vote for some reason.
And they hate people.
They hate people. Yep. All right, so file this story under, that's just mean. It's just mean. CNN Politics. Pandemic school lunch waivers to deal with supply chain crunch are at risk in spending bill. So that's pretty much what it says. Like the new spending bill.
The spending bill. I tried to look it up tonight because the spending bill did pass. I thought.
Oh, did it?
There was a $1.5 trillion. I thought I read that it passed earlier, although I could have been wrong. It was just in passing. I was just reading it like while I was running around getting ready for the show, so I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. But if it did pass, I was trying to look up to see if this was cut or not. But up to 4 hours ago, I found a story that was 4 hours ago that affirmed this story, that essentially said it's on the table and there's a good chance it's going to get cut. And essentially what's going to get cut is over the last year, they've bolstered this budget to allow students to get more food, right? So students that are on assistance, there's a chance that they get more food, right? There's more food to give away, and there's a better chance that people get this
Give it
food.
to more kids.
And in some places, we even found everybody was getting food. Like everybody was getting, they were feeding everyone.
Yeah, that's nationally, that's what's happening now. It's like everybody has access to free school
lunch.
lunch.
Were just feeding everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why isn't that just the policy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. As I read this, I thought, fucking, it's crazy that it was ever anything else.
Yeah. That you had to, like, feed your kid like that. I mean, like, you pay all those taxes. There should be something there that...
I don't have to buy every book.
Yeah.
And I send my kids to school. They get assigned books. They turn the books back in.
I don't have to rent the locker for a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck, you got the kids all day. Feed them.
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And like, whatever it costs to build that into the budget, build it into the fucking budget.
Yeah.
Like, what world I remember we talked about this when it happened in Wisconsin, when Waukesha.
Yeah, they wanted to stop it because they were upset.
Just like, I don't want the money.
Yeah, they didn't want the money because they didn't want to spoil the kids with food.
Right. And it's like, imagine having someone over to your house from 10 a.m. to 4. Wouldn't you feed them lunch? It wouldn't even occur to me to have a guest in my house that overlapped lunchtime.
Could you imagine?
And you're just like, I hope you brought your lunch, bitch.
It'd be like, you know what? We're not going to hang out for a little while. If you want to go to McDonald's, you can go get yourself some food, but I'm going to cook myself something.
I'm going to make something. I don't know if you brought a sack lunch to my house.
Did you bring anything? Do you have like some uncooked rice in your pocket? Yeah, I'll let you rent my rice cooker.
It's just fucking mean. These are kids.
And speaking of mean, they of course mentioned Mitch McConnell, who's like the spearhead of like trying to cut this out of there. Does this guy have like a mean quota he has to fill? It's like he's like Brewster's Millions, but it's mean shit he's got to do, or else the fucking dark side turns him completely black and looks like fucking Palpatine or something.
I've decided he's just a shaved Grinch.
Yeah.
He's seriously, somebody shaved the Grinch and elected him to Senate.
Like, does he have to meet a quota? I mean, like, that's what I keep thinking is like, does he have to wake up every day? And if he doesn't, like, the Dark Lord will collect him at the end of the day if he doesn't do enough mean shit.
It's like 11:58. He's running around looking for a puppy to kick.
Yeah, he's just trying. He's like dumping drinks and like fucking giving people wedgie as quick as he can. He's just trying to do something. Give some guy a swirly. I don't want to go to hell.
Buddy, you're going to hell.
Oh, God.
He's the worst. He's the actual worst. I'm amazed that we're even in a place where politically it's advantageous for anybody to be like, fuck the kids, let them starve. Bring your own food, Junior.
Jesus.
What the fuck? Oh, you want a fucking red delicious apple and a cheap bologna sandwich? Why'd you go to hell, bitch?
Especially. They take the sandwich like, eat it, motherfucker, eat it. Like, shove it into their
it's
mouth.
Fucking free. Now I'm gonna force you to fucking eat
fucking
it.
slam the apple off the little kid's head.
They got like a fucking Vitamix plunger. They're ramming it down a kid's throat.
Throw the kid out of the way, grab the next one. You're eating now. Jesus, man. It's unbelievable. And it's so fucking, you're right. It's just so mean. It's just shitty and mean. And this is one of those things, though, that this is the place where the Republicans look and they say, we need to cut here. Yeah. There's all these other places where the budget is just, it's falling out. Like my stomach after a turkey dinner is just falling
like
out.
cherry butter.
Right? Like exactly. Exactly like that. Because we need to suck that stuff back in.
That's horrible.
But it's just prolapsing.
Right.
It's just prolapsing out. And they don't even pay attention to it. They don't look at it. Right. They don't pay it. They wave their hand over it. And then there's all this other income that could be had that they, again, don't wave at because all that income from lots of very rich people, again, gets hand waved away.
They hand wave away income from the wealthy and the ultra wealthy. They wave away income that they could be collecting from churches, right? Like there's billions and billions and billions of dollars on the table. Like I read a story not that long ago about fucking like using autonomous robot dogs with machine guns to patrol the border. That
sounds about Black Mirror.
Like literally, that is a thing that they're doing. Like we're literally going to patrol the border with robot dogs that have machine guns on them. And you're like, what about feeding a fucking hungry kid? Fuck them. Build more robot dogs.
One of those, if they can beat one of those robot dogs in combat, you can get a bologna sandwich. Pretty soon, school lunches will just be Thunderdome. They're just a fucking. There's like the lunch lady is dressed like Tina Turner.
Who runs Lunchtown? Who runs Baloney Town? Really?
Oh man!
Get fucking. What's that guy's name on the back of the? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't remember.
Thunderdome. He's got a fucking name.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Well, I was hoping you remembered.
I don't remember. I don't know. The joke would have been a lot better. I remember Tina Turner was in it.
Tina Turner was in it.
That's all I remember. Was she good or bad?
She's bad. She ran Bartertown.
She ran Bartertown.
Yeah, she ran Bartertown.
Well.
Yeah, there was like a little guy on top of a bigger guy, and he had
it was like they were like Russian nesting dolls.
They were. Oh. Like it was more like he like drove the little big guy or something.
I see. Oh, he drove the big guy.
Yeah, like controlled him. I can't remember what the fucking thing. Master Blaster.
Master Blaster.
That's it.
Okay, you want to do the joke again?
No, I like it like this. This story comes from Rolling Stone. Either Mark Meadows lived in a mobile home on a mountain.
Please say that's true.
Or he lied on his
Please
voter
say that's
form.
True. Please
I'm
say
good
that's
either
true.
way.
You know, I looked this up to see, because I was like, Mark Meadows.
Yeah.
How much money you got? How much money you think Mark Meadows has? Mike, how much do you think he has?
3.9 million.
1 million.
Okay.
Which is not... Even Bernie Sanders is like over 3 million, right?
Yeah.
So, and Bernie Sanders is one of the people that you look at.
You know who doesn't have a ton of money either is Mike Pence.
Really?
He's worth like $500,000.
No kidding.
In total assets.
Wow.
His net worth, $500,000.
No kidding.
Yeah, not a rich guy.
Wow.
Like, just not, you know.
He must have had to pay Trump a lot to be vice
Jesus
president.
Christ. Can you imagine being Mike Pence? You're back home and you're living in fucking Indiana. And you're like, well, that didn't work out.
I made a huge mistake.
Oh, boy.
You know what I did?
Literally want to hang me.
I will say my exit interview with the January 6th commission was very difficult. That one was a tough.
You got to like be packing
room.
your shit and be like, that did not go
That was
as
a
planned.
tough room. Tough room. You walk out the wrong door and you literally get hanged. That is a tough room, man. But anyway, Mark Meadows basically lied on a form because there's no way to prove this, right? So the tough part is that it's so hard to prove this kind of fraud, this kind of voting fraud. But the people who live around him are basically like, yeah, man, I don't think I ever saw that dude around here. Well, and he has to at least spend the night there, and he never did.
Well, and the mobile home is a total piece of shit on top of like Skull Crusher Mountain or some fucking thing.
Yeah, sure.
And it's a total fucking piece of shit. And the people that own it were like, I don't think I rented it to that guy.
Yeah.
Like I have no record of renting it to him.
Yeah.
His wife came here for like a day or two, but I don't think I ever saw that guy. And the one guy who owns it now is like, man, I've done a lot of repairs on this mobile home. I don't think he would have liked it before I got to around to fixing it up.
That's the thing is like, this is a...
Why would you rent it?
This other thing I think though too, I got to be honest, they should take every single person who is part of the staff and also in Congress and the House, and they should make them live together in like a FEMA camp in downtown DC. And then that's it. You just live in your FEMA camp. It's a FEMA camp, and you have to live there. And think of how many people would not be fucking part of the government if you made them live in like fucking like shared housing or something, where you have a dorm, where you have to go back to your dorm and you share like a bunk with Nancy Pelosi or whatever. Think about how many people wouldn't do that. You would only get people who
were serious
about the specific thing they want to do.
Alternatively, and this would solve literally no problems, but it would be amazing.
But it'd be fun, and I'm okay with that.
You could divide all these people up and have like a Flavor of Love style house.
That would be outstanding.
Right?
Like a Big Brother kind of house.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Where they all have to do like challenges and stuff.
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ocasio-Cortez are fighting the whole time. They're like on each other's throats.
Spits on the other, and the other one like claws at him and shit.
Oh man.
I would watch the shit out of a fucking live together reality show.
Of old politicians?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And then you get like one person in there like Charlie
Rose. One's a Republican,
Rose.
One's a Democrat. How will they make it in the big city together?
One of these people who used to interview. So like Rachel Maddow comes in and she's the person who's constantly doing the talking to, and they have to do the confessionals.
Yes, they do the videotape confessional. Like when somebody, like when it's election time, the winner gets a rose or whatever. Like it's The Bachelor.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
We need to reinvent American politics.
That would be the best if it just turned into that.
You know what? Like it's such
fine.
A farce now.
The Apprentice won a couple years ago, man. It's fine. But anyway, here's the real deal with this story is that there's just a ton of projecting going on, right? All these people, whenever we find any kind of voter fraud, it's always the people on the right that are committing it. We rarely see anybody else who's doing any of this stuff. And then you get a chance to see these guys, and these guys are like big wigs, and they're even cheating the system.
Yep. Yeah. The amount of voter fraud that takes place is unimportant and de minimis.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
This story comes from MSN.com. The launch of Trump's Truth Social app is not going well. It is. Did you try to download it?
I did not. No, I don't think you. I mean, I think you can download it,
but you can't get in.
But
I know you can't.
You can't get a login.
Yeah. So I just want to read how badly this thing is going because it's just delicious. The social media platform founded by former President Donald Trump went live on 21st of January. For a time, it rose to the top of Apple's App Store, and eager downloaders were given a waitlist number for when they'd be able to start posting on it. 9 days later, many users are still waiting. I created my account within 5 minutes of it going live, one Truth user complained on Twitter. My email said my waitlist number was 25,021. I got up the next morning, and it had jumped and hadn't moved in a week. I'm losing interest in Truth, another grumbled. And I read that, Cecil, and I thought, like, that's America in the 21st century.
Yeah, right.
I'm losing interest in Truth.
I'm losing interest in Truth.
You know what?
I'll tell you what. That needs to be a shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm losing interest in Truth, and then do Truth Social.
Also, like, if you're losing interest in Truth, you're ironically in the right place.
You are. Absolutely.
You're right at home.
Absolutely, yeah. They never let anyone new in. Yeah, it's so funny because this guy who said that, his name is Cat Turd. And he's got like a whole show. So I didn't realize this. Like, this is a whole show. This guy's got a show.
I didn't click on this.
So he's got a show. I'll go to Cat Turd's
Cat Turd
website.
is hilarious.
Cat Turd's website is a podcast. He's got fucking almost 700,000 people that follow him on Twitter, and it's called In the Litter Box with Jules and Cat Turd, and it's a far-right garbage show.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
See, I wondered how many people were trying to get on Truth just to check it out.
Yeah.
You know, that weren't far-right assholes. Clearly, this guy is a far-right asshole.
Yeah, but that's who's on it. They're trying to get on, but they keep getting bounced. And the best part is even on Truth Social. So I went to Truth Social's actual page. Where's Truth Social? Let me just look it up.
While you're doing that, my very favorite thing is that Truth Social created a Twitter account to promote Truth Social.
Right.
So, but Truth Social is an alternative to Twitter, and Trump's whole thing is like, I'm trying to get away from big tech, but they can't get away from big tech that they have to promote their shit on Twitter and apologize like, hey guys, promise it's going to be working. And they're doing it all on Twitter while they're trying to shit in Twitter's mouth.
Exactly. They want to fight against Twitter, but they can't get away from Twitter. Right. They can't stop it.
It's so delicious.
It's so amazing.
If you Twitter, you've got to fucking love this.
So
Jack Dorsey's got to jerk off to this fucking every night.
He's not part of Twitter anymore.
But he was.
He was, though.
He's still interested.
I got to find this, though, because the best part is that, this is the Truth Social. So this is their post. Look at like what their header says, Tom. So hold on. No, I want to go to their actual page. Look at this. This is Truth Socials, right? It looks very similar.
I got to read this too real quick. This is Truth Social. Donald Trump says, it gives his shit, 45th president of the United States. And then it says, get ready. Your favorite president will see you soon.
And it's 175 flowers, 27
retruths or whatever.
Retruths.
True again.
And then 48 hearty truths.
Right.
That's so funny because there's nobody there.
But that tweet is the last thing he tweeted, or that truth is the last thing he truthed.
Yeah, he did.
The last truth he truthed was, I'll see you again soon.
And then he
didn't see you again soon.
Because he's a grifter and he doesn't care about it.
The first thing on Truth was a lie.
You know what?
That's amazing.
It's amazing. You're absolutely right. It's a lie. And then he of course grifted the entire thing. He doesn't care.
Right.
He just wanted he wanted you guys talking about him, and it's a fucking disaster.
You can't use it. It's unusable.
But one of the things that I think would make it popular, that I thought would make it popular, is 2022 feels like a room, like the time you want to just scream into an empty room. And that really is Truth Social, right?
Yeah.
Screaming into a giant empty room. No one is there. And this is it's like life imitates art.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is, right?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And so I think it's a perfect app for 2022.
There is
empty room to scream into.
There is a speaker facing down into a chasm in, I think, Iceland. And you can dial up into that speaker and scream literally into an abyss.
Yeah.
This is a digital that.
It's the digital that.
This is exactly that.
And no one will ever hear it.
That's it.
Because nobody can get in or nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's
fucking amazing.
Here's something I want to play for you, Tom. And I put this in the notes late.
Okay.
And I want to play this for you. Here's the thing. This is from Vanity Fair. Trump admires Putin's ability to kill whomever he wanted, ex-staffer says. Now, here's what I want to say, though. And I want to talk about this because I feel like if you listen to this, it's not as bad as Vanity Fair is putting out here. So let's listen to it.
All right.
And that way, when we listen to it, we can make this decision. We can make this judgment.
Perhaps Putin had something on him. What are your thoughts?
I think, honestly, he feared him. Mm-hmm. I think he was afraid of him. I think that the man intimidated him because Putin, he's a scary man. I mean, just frankly, I think he was afraid of him. I also think he admired him greatly. I think he wanted to be able to kill whoever, spoke out against him. So I think it was a lot of that. In my experience with him, again, I'll just say, he loved the dictators. He loved the people who could kill anyone, including the press. And I will say this, I just want to say in watching all of this with Zelensky, Donald Trump would be 57 feet below ground hiding. and Zelensky has been out there fighting for his country.
This is a hot topic on The View, by the way. Oh, I thought they got rid of Rose. I thought they got rid of Whoopi.
No, she was suspended for a short time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
she was like, well, I think administrative leave.
Oh, she took administrative leave? Did she kill somebody? So I don't think it's as bad as they say here. Trump admired.
I don't know,
Putin's-
man. It seemed pretty bad.
It's close, but it's someone else's idea of what they thought about
That's
Trump.
true. It's not.
It's not because the way they say it here, Trump admired Putin's ability, and then they put the colon at the ex-staffer, right?
Right.
At the end. So they let you know that that's what it means. But the
Yeah.
first piece of that is what catches you.
Vanity Fair is bad about that. I've actually stopped clicking on Vanity Fair, and
Yeah.
it's funny because I used to subscribe to the magazine, to Vanity Fair,
see.
the actual paper
Yeah.
product, and they have good journalism sometimes, but their online shit is real clickbait.
That's a
Real
clickbaity
clickbait.
headline.
Yeah.
I clicked on this headline and then I listened to it and I said, wait a minute. And then I went back and I reread it because, again, you're doing things very quickly.
Yeah.
And so it's my fault. I clicked on it thinking just before the colon.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, somebody heard him say this?
Right.
But nobody heard
No,
him say this.
that's
This
the-
is
that's
what
the
his
staffer's
ex-staff-
assessment.
Now, don't get me wrong. Stephanie Grisham, this is the lady, I think that's her name. I'm pretty sure that's her name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I just want to double check. Yeah. Stephanie Grisham is on The View. She is somebody who is very close to him.
Yeah. She was a press secretary.
Very close to him. And
Yep.
she was also, I'm pretty sure she was like Melania's personal executive secretary for a very long time. So this is someone who's very close to that family.
Yeah. I think her sort of hot take on Trump is it might not be perfect,
Yeah.
but it's worth listening
It's
to.
worth listening to. And
Right.
it gives you the idea to me, like, maybe she's right, maybe she's not. I don't know.
Right.
But it's still not as bad as I thought it was when I
Right.
first clicked.
That's not, I heard him say,
Yeah.
I wish I could kill people like Putin. Instead,
Yeah.
it's like, I think this is how he felt.
And-
that's like me saying, I think Cecil feels like.
Yeah, sure.
I got a probably
Right.
good read on you,
Right.
but I'm not in your head.
You're not in my head, so you don't know exactly. And that's the thing is, I think that there's a lot of things that she says that seemed pretty evident to most people, right?
Right.
He admires dictators. There's no other person in the United States history that flew over to North Korea and then saluted the generals over there.
And that guy cozied up to dictators like crazy.
Like
he loved
crazy. He
dictators.
loved them.
Yeah, because that's a motherfucker that loves power. That's a guy that and it really, if you look at his comments at the beginning of the Russia-Ukraine war, like the invasion of Ukraine, I want to say by Russia, the unjust massacre.
Yeah.
If you look at his comments, he initially was praising Putin. He's kind of walked that back since it's no longer politically popular to do. But he initially was praising Putin. He was saying things like, he gets Ukraine for the cost of like 2 sanctions or whatever, $2 in sanctions. And, Putin's a genius for doing this and all this. And you can very easily read that as this is a guy who thinks that if you can take it without repercussions, you should.
Yeah.
That
Like
the reason
Greenland.
you don't, and there's that bad atheist joke, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, if you're an atheist, why don't you rape and kill people?
Well, I rape as many and kill as many people as I want. That's
exactly,
a Penn Teller
right?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Penn thing.
And it's the same thing for Trump. Like if the only thing holding you back is the consequences.
Right.
But I think for a guy like Trump, the only thing holding him back from bad action are the consequences.
Yeah.
Not the
Which
fact
he didn't
that the
care
action
much
is
about
bad.
anyway.
Right.
And-
It's just
and-
whether he could get away with it.
And, the more stuff comes out about the January 6th thing, he
my
was
God.
going to try to get away with something.
Oh, he was trying.
Yeah.
The efforts of other people thwarted him,
Yeah.
thankfully.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker was trying to just straight up destroy democracy.
He was
and
all
declare
about
the United
just
States an autocracy.
He was 100% just
Yeah.
willing to take office again.
Yep.
Yeah. So we are not going to cover our email here in this particular point of the show. Normally we would cover email for the video. We're not going to do that. Most of the time the emails, it's personal, and I'm not going to put somebody else's email on the screen and show it to you. So we're just going to skip that portion of the show. So this is our first ever try at this. I would very much like to hear your comments. So comment below. Like and subscribe to our channel. So if you like this show, subscribe and hit the bell. And then if you like this or enjoyed this, you can comment here. We may or may not read it. Send a message to dissonance.podcast@gmail.com, and we will almost certainly see it.
We will definitely see that.
So if you want to tell us that you really enjoyed this and that we should do this more, you need to reach out to us and tell us that we should do this more. The ways to do that would be on Twitter. You can tweet at us, or you can do this, like I say, send us a message. You can also comment on the video. That's great to see. And of course, we encourage all the comments on the video. We may or may not see them. But if you do comment on the video and you want to send it to us, you could take a picture, like a snapshot of it, and send that image to us.
Sarah and Ian.
We could ask somebody to look at it too. I just don't want to go there. Like, I just don't want to dig into
through YouTube
that
comments.
place.
I don't.
But
I
I have no tolerance for that. So please, if you enjoyed this portion, thing we just did, we're willing to do it more often. We just need to know if you liked it. So let us know if you liked it. So thanks so much for joining us. We are going to leave you. I don't know if we can. We'll try. I think I'll ask Ian to do it. We'll leave you with the Skeptic's Creed. What the hell, right?
Figure it out,
We can
Ian.
do it.
Fucking figure it out.
Ian will figure it out.
Jesus.